Yes, most people are against Disney Plus, but maybe this might be the only salvation left. So it's a well-known fact at this point that both Marvel and Sony are cutting ties with the deal, and now the Spider-Man rights are reverting back to Sony, or at the very least the film rights. Which pretty much marks as the end for Spider-Man in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Despite of 2 more Spider-Man films featuring Tom Holland, which will probably separate him from the MCU beforehand anyway. And while there is a chance for them to possibly go back to the drawing board and figure something out, the chances of that at this point is slim to none. Although what some people have pointed out as of late is the fact that while Sony has the film rights to Spider-Man, Marvel Studios and Disney pretty much have everything else in relation to Spider-Man, including the TV rights. Therefore, nothing is stopping Marvel and Disney from making a live-action Spider-Man series. And given that Disney is heavily promoting Disney Plus, and that Marvel Studios is going to be a huge pioneer for the platform, this would make the perfect sense into reviving Spider-Man in the MCU. However, this isn't quite as foolproof as one would hope, because in reality, neither Marvel or Sony can use this current incarnation of Spider-Man or Tom Holland after the deal is completely done and that Sony are finished with the last 2 Spider-Man films that are still part of the contract. So in other words, everything to do with the MCU Spider-Man as we know him will be completely off bounds. Therefore, if they were to bring back Spider-Man into the MCU through Disney Plus, the character would have to be rebooted indefinitely. And in my mind, there's only really 2 ways to go around this. The first being that they should just leave Spider-Man completely from the MCU, and then after, let's say, 5 years, they reintroduce Peter Parker almost as if he is a completely different character. And the only way to make it feel organic and have this new incarnation be connected to Tom Holland's would be to leave things ambiguous. And admittedly, this would be very controversial and would also be difficult to pull off. Or much safer option would be to just introduce Miles Morales as the next Spider-Man altogether. And sure, we have seen his uncle in Spider-Man Homecoming and he does mention Miles at some point, but it was never really by name and it wouldn't be too difficult to ignore. Granted, getting rid of Aaron Davis would kinda take away a lot of Miles' character, but if the MCU Peter Parker can go along without even so much as a mention from Uncle Ben, then they could easily do something similar with Miles. And while this would be a big departure from what's previously been established in the MCU in terms of the Spider-Man mythos, Miles Morales is a fan favourite Spider-Man character. And given his newly found popularity thanks to Spider-Verse, I do feel like people would totally be on board with Miles Morales as the new Spider-Man in the MCU if worst comes to worst. And honestly, having a Disney Plus show featuring Miles Morales carrying the Spider-Man legacy in the MCU wouldn't be a bad idea at all. So how would you personally feel if we were to have a Miles Morales show on Disney Plus as a means to carry on the MCU legacy for Spider-Man? Do you think this would be a good idea, or would you much prefer if they were to keep the MCU Peter Parker for as long as they can? Comment below and share some thoughts. And as always, thank you guys for watching this video. Please like and subscribe. Take care and have a good one.